So, this is a book that's started being published in individual issues in 2015, and the trade hardback actually went out in June 2016 in the US and later on in many countries all around the world. So, if you can handle the thing for me. Hope so.
Ready? Yeah.
Not really good. And I would like to invite Richard Podaný, the Czech translator, I think all the Czech books, including this one, to have a toast with us. Okay, so to the book. And many more. We have promised some Q&As, questions and answers section in this program before we will be back to signings. Let me ask the first one and then it's your turn, unless you won't have any. The first one, it's been a pretty brave step in my eyes to for a famous novelist to write a sequel to his very famous novel in a comic form. You probably had a lot thinking about that. Someone probably influenced you. Can you tell us a bit more about how you got there, what comic means for you, and what it means for you now after the success?
My American publisher, Random House, Doubleday, thought that they would try to broaden my readership by sending me to Comic-Cons, the big conventions. And when I went to the Comic-Con in San Diego and the Comic-Con in New York, they were more fun than any literary event I had ever been to. And the comic people, the artists and the writers and the readers, were more filled with joy than any writers I had ever met in my life. So when friends of mine in Portland, Oregon, Brian Michael Bendis and Matt Fraction and Matt's wife Kelly Sue DeConnick, when they suggested I write a sequel as a graphic novel, I thought it was a great idea because comics people are the most fun people in the world, and I wanted to be part of their world for as long as I could be. Thank you.
Well, allow me one more. Is writing a comic book rather different for you to writing a novel, or was it similar?
It's a lot easier when your artist is Cameron Stewart, because Cameron fixed so many mistakes for me. Cameron really showed me how to depict action through still images, and Cameron really turned it from a novel into a comic script. So Cameron Stewart and then David Mack, the cover artist, both really continuously taught me how to do this. They made it much easier.
Okay, time for your questions.
Okay, I will try.
Okay.
You said that you want to be the part of the comic writers' world. So should we expect next book be also comic, or you, for example, some second part of any other of your novel?
I'm already ahead of you on this, because there were many artists who did variant covers. Joel Jones, who was also a friend of mine in Portland, and Duncan, I always say his name wrong, Begrudo,
Yeah.
in England. They did brilliant variant covers, and I wanted to maintain my working relationship with them. So I wrote a book of short stories and proposed that they and 6 other artists, 9 artists altogether, do illustrations for a coloring book, that these stories would be accompanied by full-page illustrations done by all these artists and bound beautifully like an art book. And we would do the most lavish coloring book that's ever been done, and also the most filthy, obscene, edgy, upsetting coloring book that's ever been done. And we have that coming out at the end of this month. So, and the launch of that coloring book got me more media attention than all of my other books put together over the last 20 years. So,
Are you talking about make something up?
no, bait.
No, the next one.
Yeah.
Yeah, the bait. Okay, and then another question? Over there. Okay, I will go there.
When you were writing the script for I Part 2, did you write full script or did you use Marvel method or how did you do it?
Now, the first word you said, something script, or the Marvel?
When you were writing the script, have you used a Marvel method of scripting? I have to admit I don't really know what it is myself. So, yeah.
Well, I translated a book about Marvel comics,
Yeah.
and I can explain. Marvel method means basically that you write just the rough outline of the script, and then the artist comes with the layouts, and then you fill the specific text, dialogues, and so on.
No, I wrote the full script. I really dictated to Cameron what I wanted to see, and that I wanted to see those objects laid on the page, and I wanted objects to cover people's faces, and I wanted objects to cover the dialogue even, and to confuse things. And I wanted a famous piece of film, the Zapruder film, that depicts the assassination of John F. Kennedy. I wanted to lay that across 2 pages. And so we tried to get the legal rights to that, and we couldn't. They would not give us permission. So David Mack sat down and in watercolor painting, he copied exactly the Zapruder film. And he was bright enough that he put penises into it, spliced into it. And that is the only thing I did not ask for. But I thought it was brilliant. And so completely sacrilegious in America. But no, I depicted to Cameron exactly what I wanted in every detail.
Okay. Someone else? Yeah. All right.
Thank you. I have read one of your interviews and you speak about comfortness and political correctness. I'd like to ask you if you think this is caused by the lack of any military conflicts in recent times.
I really don't write as a reaction to conditions in the world. It's not my job to fix anything. There's a lot of other people who make it their job to fix things. My job is to try to propose something beyond, that is not just a solution, not just a reaction. So, God bless the world, but I'm not here to save it. I just want to have a good time. You know, if I could handle any comic strip character, I would do Richie Rich. Because I don't think Richie Rich does with his money anything that I would do with his money. And so, to be Richie Rich, I would be a really adult Richie Rich with that money.
Okay, this is better. The question was, there is new virtual reality now, the new technology, and there are even movies that win Emmy prizes for storytelling in virtual reality, in VR. So my question is, if you have any insight or maybe some idea of how could storytelling look like in 5 or 10 years if we would have the technology of virtual reality democratized in just everybody could see the story or hear the story through virtual reality. Thank you.
You've asked the wrong person.
Okay.
I can't even work email while I'm here. Your keyboard is nothing like my keyboard. And the hotel can't even make my calls to the United States, so I am completely a caveman.
Okay.
I have no idea. Sorry.
I'm getting the idea now. Thank you.
So, someone else? Okay.
Good evening. My question is, if you write your books in silence, or what kind of music do you do if you write when listening to music? Thank you.
Yeah, I used to listen to music as I wrote, because it was a way of creating a consistent mood and a consistent character every time I went back to write. But I would listen to the same song all the time. That way the lyrics didn't distract me anymore. The lyrics became like a mantra or a trance. And this is something that Andy Warhol used to do. He would listen to a song called I Saw Linda Yesterday, and he would play it over and over until the record was ground down to dust. But it was his way of hypnotizing himself as he painted. But more and more, I can't listen to any kind of words while I work. So I tend to listen to either music that has no lyrics, or I listen to music in foreign languages so that the lyrics don't distract my storytelling, my mind. And that's really the answer.
How did you write it? Did you first write the single stories and then put it in the plot, or first make plot and that single stories in it?
I wrote the entire script all the way through because I wanted to be able to tell Cameron which characters were most important so that he could focus on drawing those characters with the most detail, because he would have to be drawing those characters over and over. And Cameron was so thorough that he would create computer models for things like the Project Mayhem house, the big crumbling house. And so that he could look at that house from absolutely every point of view and draw it from exactly how it should be. And so I was able to give Cameron the entire book all at once, and that allowed him to concentrate on what would be reoccurring characters and settings. So it all was one big manuscript.
Okay, thank you very much. Maybe just a quick one. There are rumors that you're already working on Fight Club 3 in comics form. Is that correct, or?
I am, and much of it is done. Most of it is done, but it's too soon. I really held back a lot of ideas in Fight Club 2 because I thought that they would be too shocking. I wanted to make sure that I could transition my readership from the book to a comic. And so I wanted to be a little shocking, but I wanted to save the worst ideas for Fight Club 3. Because, yeah, Fight Club 3 will be everything that I was not brave enough to put in Fight Club 2. And most of it's done, but it's a ways off.
Wow. Wow. So thank you very much for sharing your point on bringing your novel to comic. And now back to the signing.
Thank you.